Hi guys, we're here in New York City the day after what has been quoted as the most significant American election since the Civil War. Are you ready to find out what the American people really think? Let's go.
What are your thoughts on the election results from last night?
I'm devastated. I'm heartbroken that so many people in our country are willing to put aside that traitor Trump is a traitor to our country. He doesn't deserve to run for president, let alone win to being president. He's convicted of felonies. He's a rapist. He's a criminal. He, ripped off people in New York City and New Jersey with his businesses. And that someone like that, who spews hateful speech, just says horrible things about women and minorities as president, I'm devastated. I don't know what to say. And the fact that now he's going to be very ennobled and he'll have all his enablers. It looks like the Republicans are going to have the House and they have the Supreme Court from his picks. So I feel like he won't be controlled. At least the first time he was president, there were guardrails, there were generals who tried to control him and keep him to following the Constitution and being a law-abiding person. There's not going to be any of that now. The fact that they want to put RFK in charge of our health care, who's a vax denier, and, I'm devastated. I feel for our country. I feel for the future children of our country, and I also feel for the world and the world's children, because what he's going to do, the way he is so crazy and totally a fascist and into him, what's good for him, it's going to have a profound effect on future generations here and abroad, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah. So tell us your thoughts on yesterday's election results.
Well, sad. Sorry. I don't know what's going to happen for the next 4 years. That's it.
Yeah, I think it's worrisome on some fronts, and it was expected on the other fronts, right? I guess it would be interesting to see what happens internationally, right? What is the position of U.S.? But at the same time, I think economy had a big part of it, right? So, and people voted for it. So I guess we'll see how it turns out at the end. But I'll be very curious to see the popular vote, right? That would really tell us exactly, again, after 4 years. I heard popular vote also could turn toward Trump, and then that would be a big message for, I would say, Democrats and people like us who really want democracy at the same time, kind of be experts in what you're doing. But I guess people voted, right? It is sad.
Hi, so what do you think of yesterday's election results?
Disappointing, but not surprising. We live in a country that's far behind the rest of the Western world on having female leaders, and Kamala could have won against a normal opponent, but she was going against the MAGA cult. It was a losing battle to begin with.
Great. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
It is what it is. Can't do nothing about it. Should have voted, right?
Last night's election results.
I'm completely appalled and shocked. One, I cannot understand why the Electoral College will ever elect that man who has shown he's a joke, who has shown he's full of hate, who is a 34-time convicted felon, over an overqualified black woman who has experience in all three branches of the government. Kamala Harris is one of the most qualified, wonderful candidates we've had in a long time. And you might need to cut this out, but I think if you voted third party, I hope you were reflecting on the hate that you voted for. If you voted for Donald Trump, you voted for hatred. I think the South was misrepresented. I am from Cobb County. More than 30,000 absentee ballots from Georgia, particularly Cobb County, went missing. There's over 20 million votes where people have been notified their votes weren't counted. There were polls that have been burned. This was a rigged election. I demand a recount.
Thank you so much for your time today. And do you mind telling us what you do for a living, just so we get a general...
All right, yes. I'm a student at NYU. I major in public policy and computer science, and I minor in film and creative writing. I work in the service industry as a waitress, and I also work in education as a teacher's aide.
Wow. Well, you do it all. Wow.
Yes. One more. I'm the president of Future Fashion Group at NYU, which is a sustainability in fashion cohort.
Amazing. That's why you probably look so amazing today. Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course. I'm glad you interviewed me.
We are too, I think. Yeah, appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'll just say one
Thank
thing.
you.
I found it particularly hard explaining to my almost 10-year-old nephew, taking him to school this morning and saying, oh wow, we encourage you to do well in school. We want you to get your education. We want you to make wise choices. We want you to always do the right thing to the best of your ability. And we have a president-elect that has a sentencing hearing next week. How do we explain that to our kids? I think it's heartbreaking for the children, where we're trying to promote excellence. We're trying to explain how to be progressive and be in line with forward movement and treating women equally with kindness and respect, and making sure that you support them having autonomy on their own bodies. And then we have literally the whole country saying no. That's heartbreaking. So that's all I'll say.
Thank you for your time. So what are your thoughts on the election results?
It's a pretty dark day for the US and the rest of the world, I think.
I mean, that's a bit of a mic drop moment, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I am not a pro-Trump fan. I think it is a very dark day for women and underrepresented communities. But America has spoken. I think that's a sad sign of the American mentality in this day and age. You know, to elect Trump once can be seen as careless. To elect him twice just seems crazy to me, but that's my take on it.
So what's your opinion on the results from the election?
I think it's unbelievable, and I think it's terrible. I just don't know how anyone could vote for someone like this. He's just terrible. So.
What is your opinion on last night's election results?
Shameful.
Okay.
Both parties are shameful.
Great, thank you, I appreciate
Shameful.
that. No, yeah, I mean, yeah, that says all.
So what's the conclusion here, guys? If you couldn't feel it on camera, definitely off camera there is a sense of sadness and shock. We have been out filming all afternoon, and there's definitely a sense of people still wanting to form their opinions and still just having a bit of time to themselves. So we're going to leave you with that, and see you next time.